What's up, everybody? What's up? So, I recently paused 405 on bench, and I had hit it before. It was like a really bouncy, like boom, kind of touch and go. I don't personally count it, but it was still cool to hit it. It's still 4 plates on the bar, right? I locked it out, but I actually hit it legit this time. The next step is obviously just to hit it in competition, which would be great, either 402 or 407. But yeah, so that kind of inspired me to make this video. I know a lot of people struggle with, getting their bench stronger, and I just figured my experience of lifting, all the years, all the plateaus I've hit, all the bits and pieces I've taken from different people, and also learned from myself. I figured I could like make a video, give you guys some bench press tips, and hopefully help you guys bust through those plateaus and eventually get to 405. And even if if you bench more than 405, I don't know why you would watch this video, but if you are, maybe these are some new things that you could also apply to get to that next weight. So yeah, we'll jump right into it, and I'll kind of write things down as I go. But yeah, so number one is going to be boom, stay on program. Okay. Now, the reason why I put this as number one, because honestly, it's just like, it was the first thing that popped in my mind because it actually drives me like really fucking crazy. Because like people sometimes will come up to me and ask, like, how do I get stronger, blah, blah, blah. And I'll ask them, like, well, what's your training been like the last like 8 weeks? And a lot of times they don't even fucking know. Like, bro, how in the hell are you gonna like progress if you're not tracking everything, if you're not staying on plan? Like you can't just come in and just like YOLO everything and just I kind of feel like doing chest today, or I feel like doing legs. Like you're not gonna like get anywhere like that unless you're on steroids. But even then, that'll only get you so far, and you might actually end up getting hurt. So do not do that. Now, in terms of like what program to do, um, there's obviously many out there nowadays on YouTube and just like Google. Probably a lot of free ones, probably a lot of you know, ones you could purchase, and a lot of apps. Man, there's so many out there, honestly. So it's hard for me to just pick for me to just pick one. But the whole point is to just find one, or get a coach. If you guys want to ask me, I can release like a bench program for you guys. I coach myself. I write all my workouts out. I have it all on Google Sheets. So if you guys want that, hit me up. Let me know. I could write you up a program. But yeah, so just find one, find a good, reliable one, especially one that might have reviews. Then you could really see like, okay, well, it worked for that guy. Let me give that a try. And then just stick with it, and then see what happens. Because if you're constantly changing everything, this is what's dangerous. If you're always changing everything, you're never going to know what works, right, and what isn't working. And that's just a bad place to be because you're kind of like a car stuck in the mud. You're just spinning your wheels. Like you're moving, but you're not going anywhere. You're not getting anywhere. It's like, having a bunch of money in your bank account, but not being able to access it. Like you're just holding yourself back essentially. So enough on that. But yeah, that's number one. So number two. Number two. Yeah. Yup. Y'all are gonna love this one. You sumo pulling motherfuckers. Y'all are gonna love this shit. Number two is build muscle. Okay. So why is it that all these people, that specify early on with powerlifting, um, and they don't really take time to like get big. They're like weak as shit on bench and they're strong at deadlift. Like guys, there's people out there that bench like 250 and they sumo deadlift like 650. I mean, I'm not even exaggerating. Like that shit does exist. And at that point, you're not really strong. It's just leverage at that point. A lot of people might get mad at me, but it is what it is. Like, it's just facts. So I don't want to hear the whole, oh, I got long arms bullshit. Like, you might have to travel like an extra 2 or 3 inches, but if you're able to like lift that much on deadlift and you can only bench 250, like, you're just flat out fucking weak, bro. Like, sorry, you're just weak. And that's okay because I'm here to help you on how to fix that. But that's crazy. Like, your lifts shouldn't be that far apart. You know what I mean? We're always going to have one lift that lags, but that's a big discrepancy. So yeah. Um, you want to, like, I started with a pretty good foundation. I spent a couple years just lifting. I focused on getting big, building muscle, and then, years later, I started like specifically focusing on powerlifting. But that was really just recent because I've always done squat, bench, and deadlift, but it was always like a gym bro bodybuilding split. Now I would always start, with the compound, obviously, and then I would just hit a shit ton of accessories. Now it's a lot more modified. Like, I don't have a chest day, for example. Like, it's like, okay, today I'm doing bench and squat, or like I'm doing deadlift, something like that. And but yeah, you really want to build that base, that foundation, building muscle. The more muscle you have, the more potential you have to move bigger weights. It's going to keep you safer, more injury free. And yeah, it's just going to help you. You want to build that strength because that power and that skill will come once you start actually like focusing on those three movements. But that'll only get you so far if you don't have the proper foundation and muscles built. So I would definitely focus on that. And also, just like, it kind of ties in with this one too, but gaining body weight. Don't be afraid to gain a little bit of body weight, guys. It's not a bad thing. Like, people overthink this shit too much, man. Like, unless you're like, going for a national title or you're trying to break like a world record, who gives a fuck about weight classes? Like, seriously, who gives a fuck? Like, it really don't matter. Especially a lot of these meets, you get scored off of dots anyways. I mean, like, who actually goes head to head anymore in weight classes? Like I said, unless you're competing at the national level. And that's just not going to be the case for most people because you got to have the right genetics, and all the stars have to align, like, all those things. It's really like the top cream of the crop. And so that shit rhymed. That's bars. But you know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna it's not worth it. You're only gonna hold yourself back. So don't be afraid to gain body weight. And I'm not saying go be a fucking fat ass and eat a box of fucking Twinkies or something. Like, put on good quality weight, but don't be afraid to grow into the next weight class. Don't just hold yourself back. You're just really limiting your potential, especially if you're a young male, like between like, the ages like 18 to like 25 or whatever. Like, bro, if you're not eating, like, you're really like fucking yourself up. Like, you have no idea what your potential is if you're just holding yourself back because you want to make a weight class or something. Like, so yeah, that's number two. Let me get number three. Number three. I'll probably do like, I mean, obviously there's a lot of things I could go into for sure, but this video would be like so long. I have to do like a fucking seminar or something. But yeah, this would be a good one. I might do like 4 steps, maybe 5 if I like think of one last minute. But number three would be frequency. Um, this is actually something like I've recently found to help me because, you know, for years I was just benching like twice a week, and it got me far. I'm not gonna lie, guys. It got me from 160 to like um, mid to upper threes. I don't know the exact number because I did do like the Small Junior program where I benched like 4 days a week for 3 weeks. I did that like a couple times in that span, and saw some results from it. Um, and then also there's this one program I did too for bench where I was benching like 3 days a week for like 6 weeks or something. But yeah, those programs that I did, they helped me. a lot. And then so I was thinking, I was like, can I train this way like long term? I don't know, but see, this is what's important. Like you want to slowly work yourself into it, especially like if you're new. Um, don't just start benching like 4 days a week, for example. Milk out those gains doing the bare minimum as long as you can because you're going to progress a lot better in the long term that way, and you're not going to risk getting injured. It's just overall going to be a lot better because you can't get strong fast, not elite strength. So I don't know if y'all ever watched WWE before, but like the Royal Rumble match, right? The commentators would always say like you can't win it early, but you can lose it early. And I think that's kind of like the whole concept with lifting. You can't get to the top fast, but you can sure fuck yourself up and get injured like fast, and you can lose it fast. So that's how I like to look at it. So be patient, take your time, building the frequency up. Me personally, I recently, 7 or 8 weeks ago, when I started this block, I recently bumped it up to 4 days a week because I was just kind of curious, and my pause bench went from 385 to 405. Like I can't snap, but like that, like yeah. And this coming Monday, I'm maxing out. This will be like my last like heavy max out before I go into off season, and I'm going to be looking for that 410 to 415 range. And if that's the case, guys, that's 30 pounds in 8 weeks. I mean, just off of frequency. Like, I didn't even like change anything really. Um, I'm not lifting heavy, obviously. And that's another thing. I would really recommend getting a coach. Unless you like know what you're doing and you know your body very well, because it would be easy to overtrain and like hurt yourself if you don't know what you're doing and you're not careful. Um, Monday I'll go pretty heavy and I'll do like 3 back down sets. And then when I say heavy, I mean like I'll do a heavy single. Wednesday I've been doing 3 second pauses, nothing heavy. um, and then Friday just some Larson press, and then Saturday just regular bench. But again, that Friday Saturday not heavy, so I really only push the weight on Monday. But I'm just kind of doing the movement. I'm getting that motor engram, um, the neural pathways, just that skill. I'm developing that skill. It's like a lot of times, you guys ever notice like when you brush your teeth or you like shower, you're just kind of like doing it. You don't even think about what to do. It's just like your body's just autopiloting itself pretty much. Like that's what you want for bench, because the less you think, the less you're in your head, the better you're going to perform, because you don't have any time to doubt yourself in your head. Um, it's just boom, go. And then that's better anyways, because then mentally you could use all that mental energy to just focus on pushing. Just like when you're lifting it, just push, push. Not like, okay, so if, okay, I'm here. Oh, did I go too low on my chest? And then I'm coming up. Did I drive back enough? Or how's my legs drive? You're not going to fucking lift heavy doing that shit. I can't stand when people like, oh, I don't know, like my bench is, I think if I need to do, unless you're like learning a new form or technique, you shouldn't even be questioning like, oh well, did my elbows this, did I, dude, you should already like know. You should not be competing if you don't have that shit established already. Establish your technique, which that could be another tip too, but I'll tie that into this one. Establish your technique, and you will do that through like bumping your frequency up. So that's number 3. And then I'll probably just give one more. you know But another one too is kind of like the first one, I guess, is just patience. Honestly, people always just expect me to give them this magical, like magic 8 ball answer, and like, okay, that's what I needed to hear. Like, and then maybe they get 10 pounds in like 3 months, and they're like, it's not working. No, it is working. It's bench. Like, it takes time. Sometimes you can go on crazy spurts on like deadlift or motherfucker. The fuck. Anyways, yeah, you can go through like crazy spurts, and like deadlift and like higher rep, higher rep shit, higher rep, higher weight shit. But bench is different, man. It takes time. It's a lower number in total pounds than like squat and deadlift. It's gonna take time, guys. There's no magical answer. But the last one I'm gonna say is boom, accessories. Um, so it's at that's pretty much gonna depend like where are you weak at? You know what I'm saying? Where are you weak at? And uh you know what I mean? I don't know. I might not do that one. But yeah, like where are you guys weak at? So like if you're weak off the chest, a lot of that's gonna be like obviously chest strength, just pure just fucking driving that bitch up. But also your lats. You gotta have a really strong back. It's like that slingshot effect, right? You're coming down, you're staying tight, and then boom, you want everything to be stable and sturdy. So you want a really strong back on bench. A lot of guys probably won't tell you that. Um, so that chest, just fucking everything, right? Um, so like when I'm doing like prep or like I'm on a heavy, like few weeks of training, um, I recently started doing this and it's been working. I'll just use a chest press machine and I'll do like 3 sets, but 3 hard sets. I'm like pushing myself. Reason why I say that is because it's just a machine, so it's not taxing at all. Like off season, I'll maybe do dumbbells because it can like work on some imbalances maybe and just give you a different training stimulus. It's a unilateral movement too, so that's good. But you know, it's a lot more demanding on your joints, your nervous system, your muscles, even your core, like everything. Um, and like I said, that's good in the off season. Build all that up, of course. But when you're in prep and you're going heavy, that chest press is going to get you really working on that chest hard, but you're not going to like be taxing yourself. And so I would give that same advice for like the other compound lifts too. It's just something to think about. And then if you're stuck in the middle, um, a lot of people would say like shoulders, like stronger shoulders, more, stable shoulders. Now, I personally never seen like a direct carryover from like when my overhead goes up, my bench goes up really, but but I'm still like pretty strong on overhead, you know what I mean? If you have weak shoulders and you don't train shoulders, like that's probably it. And then the other thing I would say, like obviously at the lockout, everybody knows it's triceps, right? You really got to train those triceps hard. A lot of people just like, oh, I did 3 sets, I'm good. Like, no, like hammer those motherfuckers. Like, they are smaller muscles, and compared to like a quad or a glute or something, like you need to hit those like hard. I'll do like the cable. I'll do like 6 sets of like 12 to 20 sometimes. Like at the end of my workout, I'll just fucking hammer them. Um, there's a time and place too. Sometimes, I'll do like 20, just pump them out, get a lot of blood. But then there's times where I'll push like a hard set of 10 to where it's maybe like RPE 9. Like I'm like, oh, like maybe I could get one more. But I'm like going like hard. Like I'm lifting with intent. And that's another thing with the accessories. Treat them, you know, the way they need to be treated. Get rid of the junk volume, get rid of the just that extra fluff in there that's not really doing anything for you. It's just adding extra fatigue and not helping your lifts. Put the things in there that's actually going to help you. And you'll find that out through step 1, staying on program. What worked? What got my bench up? Okay, boom, that works. And then track that, guys. Like each week, try to go up a little bit on those accessories. Like on the chest press machine, our machine goes, so there's a stack of 295, and then you got the 2 5s at the top that you can drop down. So that's 305. I just did 280 on it, but each week I was moving it up 5 pounds, and I was just doing like sets of 10. And then I think like the last 3 or 4 weeks, I moved it down to sets of 8 because the weight was getting pretty heavy. Um, that's what I've been doing though. That way, I know I'm getting better, but I'm also teaching my body like the strength adaptations. Like, okay, this is what we're doing. We're going up each week. It's so important because otherwise, again, you're just going to be spinning your wheels. And so those are all the things I would really say. Um, that other little fifth one that I was thinking about throwing in there just real quick, it would be widen your grip. Now I've personally never done this. I put my pinkies on the ring. If you compete, you have to have a finger on the ring. So it could be, you could go as far out as like, I think your pointing finger on the ring, which is pretty wide. Um, but if you're like, the closer you are, it's going to be more tricep dominant. And the further out, it's going to be more like chest, a little bit of shoulder. So wherever you're strong at, just play around with that grip. And like if you're really slow off of the chest, maybe bring your grip in a little bit. If you um, struggle at lockout, maybe move the grip out a little bit. So that's what I would do. And yeah, start with that pinky on the ring. And, you know, uh, let's say like that's feeling good, but you want to try a wider grip. Then you go out to your ring finger on the ring and you do that for 20 days. And then you go out to your middle finger. And then you go out to your pointing finger every 20 days. You change that. A lot of people complain about shoulder pain, but they don't give themselves a chance to adapt to it. And so that's another like extra tip. Now I've never done it, like I said, so that's why I was unsure to like put it in there or not. But I've seen it help like a lot of people too. And then also we could even get into wrist wrapping. You want to wrap your wrist properly, covering the hand, so where you can't literally bend your wrist back. You're not going to apply any force like that. Like if I'm trying to punch some, I mean, you can really fuck someone over like a fucking kung fu strike. Don't get me wrong, but you're really going to drive force when this is straight. You're going to punch all the way through. You're way stronger here. You're going to apply a lot more force like that than that. Guarantee it. If you go up to a buddy and you just like fucking push him real quick, he's going to feel a lot more pressure like this compared to like that. That's going to be weak, and you're not going to put much pressure because you're going to feel like you're going to feel like you're going to break your wrist when you're doing that. So just another extra tip too, guys. Wrap that wrist properly. Let it cover a little bit of the back of your hand. I do have them, but it would take a little too long. But yeah, wrap them motherfuckers tight. Boom, to where it's solid. You can't really bend your wrist back. It might feel weird at first, like you're going to want to bend your wrist to feel more secure. You're not going to feel, you might feel like it's too straight to where it's going to fall out of your hands. But I'm telling you guys, you're going to apply so much more force that way. And, but yeah, this video has probably been pretty long. So if you're still here, I do appreciate that like a lot. And yeah, I am very thankful for you guys. Glad that you're watching the videos. Glad you're liking them. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Sorry this one was a little long. I just really want to like help people get better. And there's a lot of factors that go into it than just like the typical stuff. I wanted to throw in a little bit of individual tips and some personal experiences for myself. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. And I'll see you in the next video.